Hey everyone, and welcome back to our series, exploring the lives of the 12 apostles. Today, we're re-diving into the story of one of the most mysterious and intriguing figures among Jesus' inner circle. Simon the Zealot. You might have heard his name, but who was he really? What does it mean to be a zealot? And what can we learn from his journey from political revolutionary to a follower of the Prince of Peace? Let's find out, together. When we read the lists of the apostles in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Simon's name pops up, but he's often just a name on a list. Luke gives us the most specific detail, calling him Simon, who was called the Zealot. The Gospel of Matthew and Mark call him Simon the Canaanite, Now, this doesn't mean he was from the land of Canaan or the town of Cana. The word Canaanite here actually comes from an Aramaic word, Kanana, which means the zealous one. So, both titles are essentially saying the same thing. This was Simon, the passionate one, the fervent one, the zealot. So, what exactly was a zealot? In first-century Judea, the zealots were a powerful and fierce political movement. They were Jewish patriots who were vehemently opposed to the Roman occupation of their land. They believed that God was the only true king of Israel, and paying taxes to Caesar was an act of treason against God himself. Their motto could have been no king, but God. They weren't just about peaceful protests. They were known for their militant resistance, believing that armed rebellion was the only way to reclaim their freedom and restore the kingdom of Israel. They were revolutionaries, freedom fighters in their own eyes, and dangerous insurgents in the eyes of Rome. This is the background Simon came from. He was likely a man burning with political fire, dedicated to the cause of liberating his people. He would have seen the Roman soldiers on the streets as a constant insult, a symbol of oppression. He probably dreamed of a day when a mighty Messiah would come, sword in hand, to drive out the invaders and establish a glorious, independent Jewish kingdom. Imagined his mindset: intense, nationalistic, and probably willing to use violence to achieve his goals. He was a man of action, defined by his fierce loyalty to a cause. Now, picture this. Jesus of Nazareth begins his ministry. He's talking about a different kind of kingdom, a kingdom that is not of this world. He's healing the sick, dining with tax collectors, the very people the zealots despised as collaborators, with Romand preaching about loving your enemies and turning the other cheek. This message would have been the complete opposite of everything Simon the Zealot stood for. Loving your Roman enemies, turning the other cheek when they strike you. This was a radical, almost unthinkable concept for someone committed to armed resistance. And yet, something profound happened. Simon, the man of the sword, met Jesus, the man of the cross. We don't have a detailed account of their first meeting, like we do for Peter or Andrew. We're left to wonder what it was about Jesus that captured the heart of this revolutionary. What did Simon see in this carpenter from Galilee that made him lay down his political agenda, his sword, and his entire worldview to follow him? It must have been a powerful, life-altering encounter. Think about the dynamics within the group of 12 apostles. It's absolutely fascinating. In this small band of disciples, you have Simon the Zealot, who hated everything about the Roman Empire and its collaborators. And who else is in that group? Matthew, the tax collector. Before following Jesus, Matthew worked for the Roman government, collecting taxes from his own people. In Simon's world, Matthew was the enemy, a traitor. The tension between these two must have been immense at first. A zealot and a tax collector, sitting at the same table, listening to the same teacher, sharing meals together. It's an incredible picture of reconciliation. This is one of the most powerful, unspoken testimonies of Jesus' ministry. He didn't just preach about love and unity. E created Italiano. He brought together people from the most extreme ends of the social and political spectrum and forged them into a new family. He showed them a higher cause, a greater kingdom that transcended earthly politics and divisions. For Simon to accept Matthew as a brother, he had to undergo a massive transformation. His zealous passion wasn't extinguished. It was redirected. He learned that the true enemy wasn't Rome, but the spiritual forces of sin and death. The true battle wasn't to be fought with swords and daggers, but with love, forgiveness, and the gospel message. Jesus was redefining what it meant to be a zealot. He showed Simon that true zeal wasn't about hating your enemies. It was about loving God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and loving your neighbor as yourself. The kingdom Simon was now fighting for wasn't a piece of land. It was a spiritual kingdom being built in the hearts of people. This was a revolution of the heart, not of the sword. After Jesus' ascension, the Bible doesn't tell us much more about Simon's specific activities. Like many of the apostles, his story continues in church tradition and historical accounts, which vary quite a bit. One of the most common traditions says that Simon the Zealot teamed up with another apostle, Jude, also known as Thaddeus. Together, they are said to have traveled far and wide as missionaries. Some traditions place them in Mesopotamia, the region of modern-day Iraq, and parts of Syria and Turkey. They preached the gospel there, establishing churches and converting many people. Other accounts suggest they traveled as far as Persia, which is modern-day Iran. Imagine these two apostles, venturing into foreign lands, facing different cultures and religions, all fueled by their newfound zeal for Christ. The stories of their ministry are filled with tales of miracles and powerful preaching. They confronted local pagan priests and demonstrated the power of God over their idols. Their journey was one of incredible courage and faith. They were no longer fighting for a small patch of land in Judea. They were now ambassadors for a heavenly kingdom, bringing a message of hope and salvation to the entire world. The traditional accounts of Simon's death are as intense as his life. Most traditions agree that he died a martyr's death, a testament to his unwavering faith. The location and method vary in different stories. One of the most widely known traditions, particularly in the Western Church, states that Simon was martyred in Persia. The account claims that he and Jude angered local authorities by converting large numbers of people, and they were ultimately killed for their faith. The specific method of Simon's martyrdom is often depicted gruesomely in Christian art. He is said to have been sawn in half. This is why you'll often see Simon the Zealot depicted in paintings or statues holding a saw, the symbol of his martyrdom. Another tradition from the Eastern Orthodox Church suggests a different end. It says that Simon traveled north to the Caucasus region, preaching in Georgia, and eventually died peacefully in the town of Nik on the coast of the Black Sea. Whether he died a violent martyr's death or peacefully in old age, all traditions agree on one thing. Simon remained faithful to his calling until the very end. His zeal, once directed at political revolution, was completely consecrated to the cause of Christ, and he held nothing back. So, what is the legacy of Simon the Zealot? What can we learn from his incredible story today? His life is a powerful reminder that no one is beyond the reach of God's grace. He came from a background of political extremism and potential violence, yet Jesus saw his heart and called him to a completely new purpose. It shows us that our passion, our energy, and our zeal are not bad things. The question is, what are they directed towards? Simon teaches us to channel our deepest passions toward things that truly matter, toward love, service, and sharing the good news of a kingdom that transforms hearts. His story also challenges us to look beyond the labels we put on people. In our world, which is so divided by politics, nationality, and ideology, the story of Simon the Zealot and Matthew the tax collector is more relevant than ever. Jesus created a community where enemies could become brothers. He calls us to do the same, to build bridges of love and understanding where others see only walls of hatred and division. Simon's journey from a nationalist revolutionary to a global missionary is a testament to the transformative power of the gospel. It shows that following Jesus isn't about adding a little bit of religion to our lives. It's about a complete reorientation of our entire existence. Our priorities, our allegiances, and our very identities are reshaped by his love. Simon the Zealot may be one of the lesser-known apostles, but his story is a hidden gem in the Gospels. He is the patron saint of the impossible, a symbol of radical transformation. His life is a powerful witness that when we encounter the true King, all our other kingdoms fall, and we find a cause far greater and more lasting than any earthly one. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the life of Simon the Zealot. I hope his story has inspired you as much as it has inspired me. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the other apostles, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our next episode. Let me know in the comments which apostle you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.